Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and this is the GWC G150 by Glitchworks. Now, it is very obviously based on a Ford F-150, but there are some really interesting aspects about this truck that are definitely worth discussing and definitely worth talking about, and also definitely worth going over and going into in terms of what this truck not only is capable of doing and how it drives, but also what it was built for. Now, usually whenever I use this truck in streams, I usually hear some mixed opinions around it because sometimes when some people look at it, they go, why are the textures a certain way? Why does the truck look a certain way? And we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about and going into depth and detail with all of that stuff. Now, one of the interesting things about this truck is that the headlights and the dash, which I'll show you guys a little bit later, were actually based off of the real headlights and dash from a real person's truck, a real person's F-150, who actually collaborated with Glitchworks to get this truck made. And also, the reason why basically the model and the textures look the way they do is because it is made to be very low stress for older consoles especially to run, because as we know, older consoles have a little bit of trouble sometimes running very high quality, very high poly mods in SnowRunner. Now, obviously, at the time of recording this video, this truck is not yet on consoles, but it is fully console friendly, and as soon as it passes testing, it will be on your console mod browser. Now, let's go ahead and go into the customization. Now, as far as the engines go, you have a 5-liter Coyote as the stock engine, then you have a 6.2 Boss and a 5.2 with a Whipple supercharger. So we're going to go with the Whipple supercharged 5.2, and then as far as gearboxes go, you have 5-speed default, 6-speed highway, and 4-speed off-road. We're going to start with the 4-speed off-road and then switch to the 6-speed highway gearbox later for some bridge jump things. Now, as far as the 4-speed off-road box goes, obviously it's going to be very simple in automatic mode, but it's also going to have your, low minus, low plus, and standard low that you would expect in your SnowRunner gearbox, I should say. Now, we have the stock height, which is, I guess, what this thing is already running, but it's locked. Very odd. Then we have lifted, and then we also have extreme lifted. Now, the extreme 10-inch lift adds a very odd amount of positive camber, and I think for that reason, I will probably go with the 6-inch lift because the 6-inch lift looks a little bit more believable. Now, as far as tires go, going with the 6-inch lift does lock you out of the maximum tire size, which is a 39. However, it just looks so much better, and I feel like it'll probably drive better too on that 6-inch lift. And normally I do go for the top options, but I think on this truck in particular, I'm going to stick with the 35-inch tire options. Now, you have off-road tires, mud tires, and of course you have your chained tire options should you want to use this thing in an icy or snowy environment, which is really nice to have. It makes this thing very usable and very effective in campaign, but we're going to go with the 35-inch BFG mud terrains, and then winch-wise, we're going to go with a stage 4 winch, which is offline capable, of course, and we're definitely going to put the jerry can in the back. And as far as the roof goes, we have cab lights, which apparently don't go in the right place, but we also have a loaded roof rack and a Glitchworks custom roof rack, which basically, this one's the same thing, just doesn't have anything in it, and the loaded roof rack comes with 150 repair points and 11 gallons of fuel. Now, miscellaneous-wise, you have LED light pods, which is actually really cool. We're going to throw those on there. Kind of nice little touch. And then bumper-wise, we have the Glitchworks Customs Bull Bar or the stock bumper. And I think I'm going to stick with the stock bumper for this particular build. Now, spare tire-wise, you have a spare tire that actually goes on a tire carrier in the bed. And then rear-wise, you have the Glitchworks Customs Roll Bar and the G150 Toolbox. I'm going to go with the G150 Toolbox because I kind of like it a little better. I like the approach of it. And sidebars, let's see, side step, which kind of would double as a rock slider. We'll go for that. And then hood-wise, we have factory grill and custom grill. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like a color match type deal. That's really cool. Now, snorkel-wise, we have a standard snorkel that goes actually right up the side pillar and then literally right there to a square box. It's like literally a square intake box right up there at the top. Now, wheels-wise, you have a pretty good range. You have these KMCs, you have American Racing AR-26s, AR-62s, and then weld beadlocks, and then mag slots, and then you have Steelies, and you also have H1 wheels. I think I'm going to actually go with these KMCs. I think the KMCs look pretty good. Now, paint job-wise, this is where it actually gets pretty interesting because the paint jobs do really change up the style of the truck. Now, as we scroll through the paint jobs, actually, I kind of like that olive green. Looks pretty cool. Now, there aren't that many more paint jobs that you can choose from. However, the ones that are here do look really, really good, especially like this darker kind of maroon red that they've got going on. I think I'm going to go with I like the blue on this truck. I really do like the blue. I think I might go with a slightly lighter blue. No interior customizations on this particular model, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and take it out and see how it drives. Now, like I said before, on the 6-inch lift, it definitely looks pretty realistic. It looks pretty believable, and it looks like something that you could see driving around. And once again, I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to say, well, I don't like the way the headlights are textured, or I don't like the way the body is textured. But you got to remember, this was specifically designed to be optimized for older consoles in particular. So that's where those textures are coming in. It's not even that they're an issue. They were structured that way for older console compatibility. So as we go through the trailers here, we really only have 4 options: the Scout Flatbed, Prototype Exploration Unit, Small Scout Flatbed, and Scout Fuel Carrier. However, those are still really effective trailers to be used in campaign mode, and you can really tell when you go to drive this thing around that it was designed to be an effective campaign truck. Now let's see what happens when we take it out for a rip on some obstacles and just kind of see how it drives. Right off the bat, I mean, even with the top engine, it's quick, but it's not over the top quick. It's not so quick that you're thinking, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. This is like way over the top and I don't want this in my campaign. I can definitely see a lot of people using this in their campaign and feeling that the performance aspects of it are definitely quite balanced, because it definitely could sit alongside the stock game vehicles, the vanilla vehicles, and be right at home. Now let's see how it does up this hill climb. We're going to run it up the same hill climb that we run just about everything else that we test, because I am curious to see how it stacks up. So let's see, put it into high. Oh, not bad at all. Yeah, not bad at all. That top engine option, the supercharged 5.2, has quite a bit of torque, and it's got quite a bit of punch too, so you can put it in high and feather the throttle, and you won't run out of steam. Definitely won't run out of steam anytime soon. Now, we aren't on the highest lift, but I still think I kind of want to try this little bit of rock crawling just to see how limited it actually is in that regard. And actually, it's not as limited as I thought it would be. I mean, it's hung up right here, but it kind of works its way through it. If you start working the steering back and forth, you can still make it do what you want it to do. That's impressive. I mean, keep in mind, we are not running the highest lift. We're not running the highest lift at all. And it still made its way through that, no issues whatsoever. Now, if you're a particular fan of the F150, you're definitely going to enjoy this truck. And if you're a fan of both F150s and balanced, realistic builds, this is definitely going to have a spot in your campaign playthrough. It definitely should as well. Gonna ease it down over the edge real quick. Now, back into automatic mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and repair and refuel. And now we're gonna test it in the mud. Now, the mud is an interesting obstacle for this truck because it's going to do either one of two things. It's either going to do the more vanilla truck thing and sink, or it's going to be just a little bit more capable in mud than vanilla trucks, which I can tell you it already is because it's ripping through here in high. But let's see how well it does when we put it into some actual dedicated mud lanes. It's moving, but not... Oh, well, there it goes. It's pretty capable. That's actually really capable. Pretty impressive. Now, the fact that the diff lock is on all the time really does help because you can leave it in automatic mode and vary your throttle input for the most part, rather than having to switch between different low ranges all the time. Now, some people may like that, some people may not, but... Oh, I think we found the limit of it. Yep. I think we found its limit. Let's back it up. Wow, even going into the second mud lane, it got stuck. But then again, that's definitely going to cater to the more realistic aspect of gameplay that I think this thing is definitely trying to go after. So now we're going to head to the dips obstacle, see how it does in there, and then we're going to the bridge jump, because you guys already know that we need to visit the bridge jump in this thing, especially since we have the top engine option, and right now we have the slower gearbox, but you better believe we're going to put the faster gearbox in it. So now I'm going to go down and through the... easy. It does have some pretty good flex, I've got to admit. Like, obviously, with it being an independent front suspension truck, a lot of that flex that you're going to get is out of the rear, but even the flex in the front isn't bad, and when you go diagonally through obstacles like this, you're really not going to run into any issues. The biggest thing that I would be concerned about going through an obstacle section like this, especially in campaign mode, would be obviously getting high-centered, but... It's not that bad. As long as you kind of structure yourself in that kind of diagonal line, you'll be okay. You'll be just fine, because in that respect, you'll have at least 1 or 2 tires in contact with the ground most of the time. And if you don't, the inertia and weight of the truck will kind of bounce the tires back down to where they need to be to get the grip. Now let's get a little bit further along here through the dips obstacle. Not doing too bad at all. Really actually impressed. Really impressed with the balance of it. The center of gravity is really well placed. Yeah, mad props to Glitchworks on the tuning. So now, we're going to go ahead and repair it one more time. Garage, highway box, refresh that, and then change time and also change the weather. Now it's time to hit the bridge jump and see what it can do. Now also, these pictures of the interior, and I believe that this was coming from Glitchworks, these are actually based on real-life photos out of the owner's actual truck, out of the owner's actual F150. So that, to me, is a really cool little touch that you don't really see in necessarily, like, every mod that goes out. It's a really cool personal touch, I think. Now, let's make our way up to the bridge. I'm gonna try to find some grip. Whoa, these tires aren't terrible on the pavement, but wow, dude, you could tell right there how well tuned the center of gravity is, because most trucks, when they hit the dirt, they would have gripped up and immediately flipped over. This thing actually, though, it tried to, but the center of gravity is so well tuned and so well positioned that it doesn't even think about rolling over. All right, let's make a run for it. Come on. There's 5th. There's 6th. I need to be able to see. Thank you very much. And go! Not bad. Not bad. And it actually came close to fully damaging out the suspension, but didn't damage it out all the way. So that's pretty impressive, actually. I fully expected to damage the whole truck out when we did that, but I'm really happy that we didn't. I'm really happy that the truck basically survived everything that we put it through on that one. Now, let me know any and all of your thoughts and opinions on this truck in the comments below. Is it something that you're excited to see, especially because of the fact that Glitchworks focused on the performance aspect of older consoles with this truck? Or are you more partial to the higher detailed, like, high poly truck models and mods and stuff like that? It's not to say one is better or one is worse or one is right and one is wrong. It's just to kind of dive into that personal preference aspect of it a little bit. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do consider leaving it a like, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later, and I hope you guys enjoyed.